Hi. I thought the best thing to do for chapter 6 would be for me to go through some of the discussion postings and just give feedback to, the whole class. That way we can all learn. So I'm just going to randomly pick some postings and give feedback because I noticed a couple misconceptions that everyone seemed to be having. So let's get started. First one that I wanted to go over. So this is an example of negative reinforcement that somebody posted. So when I wear muddy boots into the house, my wife yells at me and I immediately take off my boots. Because of this continued reinforcement, I now remember to take off my boots. To me, this sounds more like punishment because keep in mind, people like to be negatively reinforced. You can always ask yourself that question. Do I like what just happened? Because people like to be negatively reinforced. And to me, I seriously doubt that the person liked their wife yelling at them. So to me, that sounds more like punishment. Good examples of negative reinforcement. What's happening is the person is feeling very uncomfortable to begin with. And then they did something that took away that uncomfortable feeling. So whatever they did, like let's say they had a headache and then they took some medication that took away that bad feeling. Or let's say they were they're an anxious person and organizing helps them feel better. Well, organizing is negatively reinforcing for them. So in the future, after years of doing that, they may organize every time they feel anxious. And then you can have somebody that's, could potentially have OCD or be a neat freak. But they just might like to organize a lot when they feel high anxiety. Okay, so let's go over a couple other examples. And you guys really, positive reinforcement was not a problem. I saw lots of good examples. People giving treats for doing good things, people giving, praise. The only thing I would caution you is make sure whatever you're giving the person is something that they want. Do not make the assumption that just because you would like it, that they would like it. And I'll give you just a real quick example. There was one time when I was working, this is probably 10 years ago, but the teacher wanted to increase class participation. And there was one student who was very bright. And the student was raising his hand, and the teacher started giving praise. Saying, good job, Antoine, way to go, Antoine. Well, what happened was the student actually stopped participating. And, I was talking to him later, and what was happening was the teacher was actually embarrassing him. So make sure that whatever you're doing is actually something the person would like, because if it's not positive reinforcement. It doesn't matter if you would like to be acknowledged or you would like the praise or you want somebody to, take notice of you doing something good. It has to be something that that person would like. So, some teenagers do not want added praise, at that particular point. Instead, they might want more privileges, or they might want minutes for their, phone, or, things like that. I mean, that might be more what makes them tick. So sometimes when I go into homes and I'm working with families, they don't understand why it's not working. And what it is the positive reinforcement is not really what it doesn't mean anything to the child. In fact, it's actually a form of punishment to the child. I mean, they don't want what the parent is offering. So just keep that in mind. It has to be something that means something to that person. Okay, enough about that. Let's find some more examples of negative reinforcement. Okay, here, I haven't read this before, but let's go through it. No, negative reinforcement was punishment to me until I read this chapter. And actually, that's the case for a lot of people. I think a bad reaction, but that's not true. Last week, in the salon, a client came to me with very dry hair that she called dandruff. Many mistake what dandruff really is, so I had to educate her and get the right products and shampoo. The client had been using Head & Shoulders until I told her to try some other line. She called back and said that she felt a difference already. So, exactly. And now the client says she's going to change and use this shampoo. It's a perfect example. So, client was uncomfortable. I imagine her head itched. Maybe it was getting red because she was actually making it worse. So what she now did was she now purchased this product. It's now working, and she likes the reaction. So the negative reinforcement part, she was uncomfortable. She now did something that it feels good. And now she's going to go back to that. So the next time her head starts feeling bad, the next time her scalp starts feeling bad, she's going to go back to that behavior. So that behavior has been negatively reinforced. That's a perfect example. Okay, let's see another one. Okay, we have a headache example. So we have an example of somebody has a headache and their mom would have them drink some water and take some medicine, go to sleep. And now they do that as an adult. They continue to do that. Exactly. They've so unpleasant stimulus was the headache, and the water and sleep were negatively reinforced, and now as an adult they continue to do that. Very good. Let me see if I can find one more example. I'm just going to scroll up a bit. Oh, okay. I haven't read this one before yet, but this looks good. Okay, so this person's moved, wow, the whole way out to Colorado. Left on Wednesday, arrived at a new house on Saturday late in the afternoon. They cannot stand clutter. There are boxes everywhere is driving them crazy. So they took it upon themselves to put everything away and get rid of the boxes by Sunday evening. Wow. And they feel better. They were having small anxiety attacks looking at all the boxes stacked everywhere. So, and this is a really good example. You just need to specify a little bit. So, you were uncomfortable, you had high anxiety. Cleaning and putting everything away was the behavior, and that was negatively reinforced by the removal of your anxiety. And I'm going to take a jump here, but you might be the type of person that when you do have anxiety, you might be the type of person who likes to organize things, who likes to arrange things, who likes to have things just under control in that way whenever you're feeling, anxious. And that has been reinforced over the years. Over the years, you have learned that that is a way when you feel anxious, it's been negatively reinforced. So that's a very, very good and common example. Let me see if there's another one here. Okay, we have somebody leaving a trail of clothing on the floor when they get home and take a shower, but they get a chewing out from their wife. And the chewing out comes in Spanish and English. That to me, again, that sounds like punishment. Do you like getting this chewing out in Spanish and English? Probably not. So that sounds to me like punishment. So you need to think of something that you're uncomfortable, and then there's a behavior that happens, or something happens that removes that feeling of being uncomfortable. So your example to me sounds more like punishment. So we want to tweak that, or maybe just come up with a completely different example. If you want to tweak it, you could have, perhaps if the wife gives you the silent treatment for a long time and that's really uncomfortable, maybe you've learned something that you can do something to get rid of that. That you could use something like that. Okay, here's another one. I've not been working with my gerbils as much as I should, and last night one of them bit me. Again, that sounds a little bit more like punishment, because we wouldn't enjoy being bit. No one likes being bit by a rodent. So think about something that you're uncomfortable with, something obnoxious, something you don't like, and then something removes it, and you enjoy that, you like that. And when I say enjoy, it doesn't mean that, like, for example, I don't enjoy taking Excedrin. It's not like, woohoo, I took Excedrin, but I enjoy it in the way that I really like not having the headache anymore. Okay, so I don't mean that when I say enjoy, I don't mean that it's something that you're all excited about, but it's something that you're glad that it happened because it removed the pain or it removed the discomfort. So that's what I'm talking about. So I hope that this helped clarify. Now, you guys have a couple more days to work on it. Please tweak what you need to tweak. Get everything, you can rewrite things, you can repost things. You have until Wednesday night at midnight, so go ahead and work on that. And please let me know if you have any questions. You can email me at my Gmail account, chrisboydis@gmail.com, and I'll be really happy to help you in any way I can. Thanks a lot, and I hope you all have a good week.